America's most notorious serial killers. Have you ever heard of the name Ted Bundy? Well, it's no surprise as Theodore Robert Cowell has been regarded as one of America's most notorious serial killers, who after a decade of denial confessed to 30 murders. Born on November 24, 1946 in Burlington, Vermont, Ted's early life was shrouded in mystery and dysfunction. He was initially raised to believe that his grandparents were his parents and his mother was his older sister to avoid the social stigma that accompanied birth outside of wedlock at the time he was born. There were different reports about Ted's discovery of truth. He reportedly told a girlfriend that a cousin showed him a copy of his birth certificate to humiliate him. While biography and true crime writer on Roll wrote that Ted only found out everything in 1969, when he located his original record. But one thing is for sure. The reality left him deeply disturbed. He was deeply attached to his mother as an older sister, and the sudden revelation of her true identity shook his sense of family and belonging. He resented her for not telling him anything about his father and blamed her for letting her discover everything all by himself. In his younger years, according to reports, Ted already exhibited concerning behaviors. He showed an early fascination with knives, and there were alleged involvement in animal cruelty. He also struggled to fit in socially and often felt like an outsider and used to take younger children in the neighborhood to the woods and terrorize them. Despite these warning signs, Ted was a bright and charismatic student. It was written that during his college days in 1967, as he excelled academically, he met a woman who was the epitome of his dreams. As he described her, she was the most beautiful creature possible. The two became romantically involved, but Ted dropped out of college and worked a number of minimum wage jobs. She got frustrated by his lack of ambition and immaturity, leaving him eventually. On the other hand, Ted would later reveal that she was the only woman he has ever loved. After their breakup, Ted met another woman in 1968 and lived with her. This woman was a single mother and he became her daughter's father figure since she was 3 years old, until he got arrested. As an adult, this young girl revealed that Ted had been sexually abusive or inappropriate with her. In the early 1970s, Ted re-enrolled and became a goal-oriented psychology major and honor student. During the summer of 1973, he met the love of his life again and the two rekindled their relationship, as she was amazed on his transformation as an educated person. But in 1974, he cut ties with her. Later, he revealed that he just wanted to prove that he could have married her. After leaving his former girlfriend, he started skipping his classes at law school as young girls began to disappear in Pacific Northwest. This was when Ted started his crimes. One of his most distinctive traits was his charismatic and deceptive nature. He presented himself as a charming, well-spoken, and intelligent individual. It was this very charm that allowed him to lure his victims, primarily young women, into his trap. He reportedly used various tactics, including feigning injuries, impersonating authority figures, or simply engaging in casual conversation to disarm his unsuspecting victims. His killing spree was marked by a calculated and horrifying modus operandi. After gaining his victims' trust, he would incapacitate and ultimately murder them. The details of these crimes were gruesome. He also frequently revisited the bodies of those he abducted, grooming and performing sex acts on the corpses until decomposition and destruction by wild animals made further interactions impossible. As the number of missing women in the Pacific Northwest continued to rise, law enforcement agencies began to take notice. Ted became a prime suspect in several disappearances. He was initially arrested in Utah in 1975 when a search of his vehicle yielded suspicious items, including burglary tools and women's clothing. Though he was held on these charges, it was not until later that the true extent of his crimes would come to light. Ted's cross-country killing spree left a trail of fear and uncertainty. As more young women went missing, it became increasingly evident that a serial killer was at large, operating in several states. Law enforcement agencies in different regions were faced with the daunting challenge of connecting the dots and apprehending the elusive perpetrator. His ability to evade capture was partly due to his cunning and ability to change his appearance and identity. He frequently moved between states, making it difficult for investigators to track his movements. Moreover, he managed to escape from custody multiple times, which added to the complexity of his capture. The manhunt for him became a nationwide effort, with various law enforcement agencies collaborating and sharing information. Behavioral profiling, a relatively new investigative technique at the time, played a crucial role in understanding the mind of the serial killer and predicting his next moves. Investigators and profilers began to piece together a more comprehensive profile of Bundy, including his methods, motivations, and potential hiding places. Despite Ted's ability to elude capture, the law enforcement agencies persisted. The dramatic final capture occurred in February 1975 when he was apprehended in Pensacola, Florida, after being stopped by police and subsequently identified as a suspect in a stolen vehicle. It was this arrest that finally led to the unraveling of his horrendous crimes. The capture and trial of Ted marked the end of his reign of terror in the 1970s, but it also left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of America in the field of criminology. In 1977, he jumped from the second-story window of a Colorado courthouse during a preliminary hearing but was caught again. His trial took place in 1979, when it became a media sensation. His charismatic and confident demeanor in the courtroom, often referred to as the trial of the century, fascinated the public. The trial resulted in his conviction and death sentence for the murders he committed. His confessions to some of the murders further confirmed his guilt, yet the total number of victims remained unknown. Biographer Anne described him as a sadistic sociopath who took pleasure from another human's pain, and the control he had over his victims, to the point of death and even after. While Ted called himself the most cold-hearted son of a bitch you'll ever meet, Ted's case had a profound impact on the way the public perceived serial killers. He shattered the stereotype of the disheveled, socially isolated murderer, as he appeared to be a charming, educated, and outwardly normal individual. This revelation left people questioning how someone with his attributes could commit such horrific acts. A lot of things happened before he was executed in the Rayford electric chair on January 24th, 1989. Hundreds of revelers sang, danced, and set off fireworks in a pasture across from the prison. After the execution, the white hearse containing Ted's body left the prison, and he was later cremated in Gainesville. His ashes were then scattered at an undisclosed location in the Cascade Range of Washington State, as per his will. Ted's case became a focal point of true crime fascination and was the subject of numerous books and documentaries. His story continues to be a point of reference in discussions of serial killers and the psychology behind their actions. The story of Ted Bundy extends beyond the realm of public fascination. His case had a lasting impact on the field of criminology, particularly in the development of criminal profiling. Bundy's complex personality and criminal behavior challenged investigators to refine their methods and gain a deeper understanding of serial killers. Furthermore, the Bundy case prompted extensive research into the psychology of serial killers. It raised questions about the origins of their violent tendencies, their capacity for manipulation, and the factors that contribute to their criminal acts. These studies have provided valuable insights into the early warning signs and behavioral patterns of potential serial offenders. Up to this day, the name Ted Bundy continues to be synonymous with the darkest aspects of human nature and the enduring quest to understand and prevent such heinous crimes. Our video. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. This has been Zane. See you next time.